Welcome back to another episode of Gears and Glory. Today's episode is a deep dive into snack time. I'm kidding, but we're all like slowly snacking. But today's actually a deep dive into the 2015 mysterious Barcelona testing crash. I'm sure most people have probably heard about it, at least. But how much do we all know about it? Because some of the theories and like comments made by people with this event, they leave me questioning a lot to this day.
I actually know nothing about this. Like, I know I said I don't know anything in one of the previous episodes, but like, y'all's exposure in when we've discussed what we're going to talk about, summer break, like, what are we going to try and tackle? I genuinely haven't heard of this one. I'd like kind of heard things about the other ones. Genuinely, all I've heard is like, there was a crash in testing from what you all have told me.
Is this the one where, like, I don't want to give anything away if it is the one, but Fernando ends up in hospital?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll leave it there.
And that's the part where I think Sofia's going to really spiral.
Yeah. I don't know the details, but I do know that happened and what happened after it. And why it's...
I mean, when that part comes up, I reckon we'll pause for a proper conversation because it even relates to, like, today. So maybe let's just get into it. And when it comes to that part, we'll deep dive on the deep dive.
Let's.
Because, yeah. All right. So yet again, I've got my notes on my phone. So I'm probably going to look down because I've kind of written them in a scripty way so that I'm not stumbling over my words.
Love.
But yeah. Obviously set in 2015, and it's testing in Barcelona. So basically a bit of background is Alonso spent a very unhappy 4-year spell at McLaren after driving for Ferrari after the 2014 season, with the two-time world champion often struggling to conceal his frustration with Honda's underperforming power unit. So that was the key issue back then, and he was not silent. He was like Max Verstappen. Bro spoke his mind. The Spaniard infamously referred to I've written a script and I can't even speak still. The Spaniard infamously referred to the powertrain as a GP2 engine. That was F2 back in the day.
Oh my god.
Over team radio during Honda's home race at the 2015 Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka, with McLaren and Honda eventually parting ways at the end of 2017.
No, because Honda said, you come into my home and you disrespect me? Dude.
Yeah. He was not keeping that to himself.
No, he wasn't. Some things are inside thoughts, and I struggle with that, but I'm trying. So...
Yeah. But yeah, that's sort of like the background of this, but let's move back to I'm almost 100% sure it was the pre-season testing.
And Alonso's at McLaren at this time?
Yeah, so this is the year he went back to McLaren after all the like Spygate.
Gotcha.
Yeah. After the Crashgate issues at Renault, actually. That's the timeline. Yeah. So he's gone back to McLaren. But basically, I can't even like get the words out because like it's actually like we're gonna spiral so quickly. Basically, rounding the long right-hander of turn 3 at the Barcelona circuit, Alonso's McLaren suddenly veered to the right and crashed into a bare concrete wall. It was something of a glancing blow at nearly 100 miles per hour as the car straightened whilst it was on the grass, and then we'll come back to that later, but yeah. Sebastian Vettel I think he was the only other one on track. He had just exited the pits in his Ferrari and he was the nearest car to the McLaren. Okay, so he must not have been the only one on track. I don't know why I thought he was, but he was closest to the McLaren of Fernando when it happened, and he's quite literally described it as the car's movements were strange. So even he's like, this is sus. Usually after such like a crazy looking accident, Alonso would jump straight out of the car, but when he did not, medical extraction crews were straight to his assistance. He was promptly airlifted to hospital, where he spent 3 days and was diagnosed with a concussion after the heavy impact. With F1 testing not televised at the time, no footage of Alonso's crash is available for public consumption, and the findings of an FIA investigation into the incident have never been published. The crash was captured by CCTV, but the footage has never been made public. So we really just have to trust the words of the people who were there.
But don't they have his onboard?
They have it, they've not released it.
Oh.
But
yeah. We've got
why
photos.
not?
Give it to us now.
That's the theories here. Yeah. With that, McLaren... Can I have some more, please?
Can I have some footage, please? I just want to know.
Yeah. McLaren claimed that Alonso had simply been caught by a gust of wind. Somebody is scrolling through my notes. Had simply been caught by like a really strong gust of wind, which had some credit put to it when Carlos Sainz suffered a similar incident later that afternoon at turn 3 also. When he finally addressed the crash in Malaysia, Alonso refuted that theory and blamed the car. These are quotes from Alonso here, but he said, "It was clear that there was a problem in the car, but it was not found in the data. There is not a clear answer. We definitely had a steering problem in turn 3 and it locked to the right. I downshifted from 5th to 3rd. Unfortunately, in the data, we are still missing some parts. Whatever part was the problem, perhaps we'll never find out." That was given short shrift by McLaren, and what was known is that he was briefly knocked out unconscious after the impact. Yeah. As the car had straightened up seconds before the first impact, the suspension did not break on contact with the wall as the car went largely parallel. Even she's shocked.
She was like nodding along as you were telling us about what Fernando said. And she was like,
Did you know that? As the energy of the impact did not break the suspension, it had to go somewhere, and it did, through the unwitting Alonso. After he came around, it was claimed that he woke up believing he was still a Ferrari driver, or that it was 1995 and he was a go-karter hoping to make it to F1.
yeah,
That's also rubbish. Yeah. That's what I thought you were getting at, and that's why I was like, that's going to blow Sofia's mind.
Yeah. He had like temporary memory loss.
Yeah. The issue with that is Fernando completely rubbished that as well in Malaysia. He said, "I didn't wake up in 95 speaking Italian or anything like that," because that was another thing that was stated. He woke up only speaking fluently Italian. He wouldn't speak English, just Italian. But he says, "I didn't wake up in 95 speaking Italian or anything like that. I remember the accident and I remember everything the following day," he said. Ooh. Yeah. The cogs are ticking in that brain.
I just can't. Because all we have is two different people saying two different things.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But like,
Her noises are how I'm feeling internally. Like, that's the perfect talk track to what's happening in my brain right now.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what happened? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know either.
So, who was, because I know that Stella was Andrea Stella was the team principal at that, well, not team principal, but he was at McLaren.
Yeah.
That was his, first year.
Yeah.
But who was Fernando's race engineer?
I actually don't know. I don't know. I was never really a McLaren fan, so I've not really... that was only really the second year I was liking F1 too, now I think about it, 2015. But yeah, never been a McLaren girl, so I should probably deep dive into the historics of other teams.
So he crashes, and Seb Vettel is like, "That was weird."
Yeah, he was like,
then he says, Alonso says it's the car. Everybody else says it was the wind, which is corroborated by the fact that Carlos Sainz has a similar crash.
Yeah.
So then he gets taken to the hospital because he got knocked so hard in the noggin that he allegedly was so severely concussed he had temporary amnesia.
Yeah.
Like severe temporary amnesia.
This is where the theories into the current time come along. So basically how, I don't know if you've seen like old photos of Fernando Alonso, but he's really not aged. He's not aged a whole lot. He still looks really young for a 43-year-old. And he's still racing as if he's still young. And that's where these theories come. The next part I'm about to talk about also strengthens why this is the theory. But it's the theory that he's still stuck in the body of young Fernando.
But like that makes, I mean, I honestly thought it was super cool when they were racing in China this year and he got caught out in the gravel trap and just immediately fixed it.
Yeah.
Like, but then in my head, not knowing this, I'm like, oh, it's because he's been racing for so long.
Yeah.
And so, because it's like his body and brain can't decide if he actually knows so much or if he is so new. And I really gives a different flavor to all the rookie jokes. Because it's like, oh, because he got hit in the head so hard.
It's also like if you look at who he is now, which you can argue this with really any of the drivers around Fernando's age, like Seb or even Mark Webber, where he is completely different now, behavior-wise, to what he was then. And if you didn't know about this, you would say, oh, he's just grown, he's matured, and, you know, he's experienced life, and yada, yada, yada. But maybe, like, he's just literally got some sense knocked into him. Or knocked out of him.
Yeah. I can't tell sometimes.
Well,
there's either nothing up here.
Literally. Yeah. That quite literally follows into my next point. Former F1 racer Fabrizio Barbaza, I think that's how you say his name, once again, shit with pronunciation. He claimed that from his sources, Alonso had suffered a 600-watt hit from the car. Wild rumours had also suggested that he had been electrocuted in the cockpit at the time when Honda were struggling to get up to speed in the era of V6 hybrid engines, but it must be stressed these have never been proven.
He got the Frankenstein's monster effect. He got Frankenstein's monster.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
That's the theory I wholeheartedly believe, that he was electrocuted. And that's why he woke up like that. That's why he's still acting and looking young, like...
How many watts kill a person? Hey Google.
Hey Google, let me have a quick Google search. How many watts of electricity?
But I think it also depends. Science. I think it also depends, like, it gets distributed as well. Like, if you get struck by lightning, you're, like, gone. But if you're, like, holding on to something and it's distributed, you're not hit with, like,
well, because, like,
shots. But, like, it runs through you kind of thing.
Yeah, and then, like, obviously, like, we have electricity in ourselves in general as human beings because that's how your brain works. And then if your heart stops, they go clear and then buzz you back to life in theory or back to a rhythm.
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused, but it's like saying that, like, 600 volts, which I'm assuming is similar to watts, is enough to incapacitate or potentially kill a human, especially if multiple shocks are involved. So to me, that kind of like shows that it's very likely that could have just like shocked him back into that state that he was believed to be thrown back into.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's a wild theory, but I kind of believe it. That's like my...
Maybe, and that's maybe why no one has really, or like there's a piece of the data missing or whatever. Because if it did happen, maybe it like short-circuited.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Board computers.
Yeah.
That would make so much sense.
Yeah.
This man got Frankenstein's monster.
I think that's a theory that makes most sense to me, but...
I agree.
I guess we'll never know.
Well, especially because the data's missing.
Yeah. Well, is it?
Well, because the thing is, I mean... I can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with this theory. I agree on this theory.
Yeah. I mean, my last little bit of information I have is basically all quotes from so basically on his YouTube channel, the 1992 title-winning Williams team manager Windsor revealed that he was told by McLaren team members at the time that mechanical failure was ruled out by the team, claiming Alonso did suffer a medical incident behind the wheel. So they're not really telling him it was driver error, but that it was a medical incident, which they've not said. But then I've got a
it's not like
YouTube video.
It's not like Alonso's ever going to say that either, though, because then they'll be like, well, you're not fit to drive.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, do they think he had like a bit of a fit or something, like a seizure?
Well, I think they know he got electrocuted, and that was the medical episode.
Yeah, because if he had have just gotten electrocuted, like before the crash, if something had happened, and he just, like, even if it wasn't 600, even if it was just like a little zap, and he was literally just like, skirt, like in an F1 car that going that fast, that will
that'll scramble your brain
straight in the barrier.
Yeah,
so maybe that is what happened.
Insane.
No, because I'm gonna try to go to sleep tonight, and I'm not gonna be able to.
Sorry.
I'm gonna need to know the truth, and we literally, not to be so cliche, we literally may never know.
Yeah. Well,
I hope somebody writes a tell-all.
Information may either like make you like solid on a theory, or it may just confuse you further. For me, I think that everything that Windsor has to say in this part is sus on McLaren. Very sus. But like, we'll never know. But basically, he said that Fernando's often said, when I retire, I'll tell the whole story about McLaren, which I can only assume means how McLaren treated me badly, didn't give me the best car and everything I needed, and favoured Lewis Hamilton in 2007. I can't imagine it's anything more than that. I can't imagine that it is, and they sent me out in a car that failed and caused me to have a massive accident in Barcelona. I don't think it would be that. If it is, I'd be shocked because I didn't think that was the case. It was a weird shunt because he came out of turn 2, the second part of that first corner chicane, and went through turn 3. He went through turn 3, and in the middle of 3, he turned right and went over the grass and crashed into the bank on the inside, which is not the way you can lose a Formula 1 car that wasn't driver error in that sense.
No, on the inside.
Yeah.
Like, outside I get.
Yeah. It might have been some sort of failure on the car, some sort of steering failure, or maybe brake failure. Not that he was on the brakes at the time, but there might have been a disc explosion or something a bit weird. Or he had some sort of blackout. And that's what I understand to be the case. I think he did have some sort of blackout, and I'm not sure he knows why that occurred or anybody else does. My understanding is that what happened, and it wasn't my understanding is that is what happened, and it wasn't a mechanical failure from talking to people at McLaren who were involved at the time. A bit of a mystery, a big mystery actually. Windsor was positioned in race control at the time of Alonso's accident, revealing the role he played in the rescue effort moments after the impact. And he claimed that the McLaren staff were already touchy about the crash at that stage, recalling how he was ushered out of the room by a team member in an odd encounter. He explained, I remember I was in race control at the time and I saw it on CCTV. People said, look, Fernando's gone off. There was one medical guy and I said, look, you need to get out there because he's not out of the car yet.
That's weird that they're just like
that's odd.
Out you go. No need to be here. Don't look at this.
There was another part I read somewhere. I didn't write it down, but apparently the McLaren employees were like, why are you in here? You shouldn't be in here, to Windsor, who was in race control.
And, like, I understand wanting to have control over the story, but at that point, I wouldn't think that it would be so premeditated unless they had, in the moment, known that something had gone wrong and had, like, a few seconds to, like, realize this is going to be bad for us.
Yeah.
And that's why I think those quotes there make it so suspicious on McLaren. And even though Windsor's saying, I think it was a blackout, putting those 2 points there together, it pushes me even more to think, I think he was electrocuted.
But, like, I think maybe if it was premeditated and McLaren were planning something, perhaps they, like, you would assume they wouldn't plan for Alonso to be electrocuted because that's a much bigger risk than just crashing.
And
so
much
maybe
worse
they
for
were like,
McLaren and Honda.
Yeah, so maybe they were like toying with the aero setup or whatever. I don't know how well advanced their tech was in 2015. And they were trying to just change his aero setup to make him like over or understeer and just spin out. And that just happened at the same time.
Yeah. It's all really odd.
Yeah.
Or maybe the steering wheel.
His face is so real. Yeah. I think that's quite possibly the most, like, mind-fucking, like, thing that we've spoken about in these deep dives so far.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I left it for the last one. But, like, yeah, there's so much you could go into. And I mean, especially for Sebastian Vettel to speak out and go, that was not right. That's
yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't add up.
And that was Seb's villain error.
Yeah.
When he was at Red Bull?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Was he Red Bull or Ferrari?
I think he was... Oh, he might have gone to Ferrari by then, but it was, like, after...
Oh, yeah.
So he was just coming out of his villain era.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm, like, still trying to digest everything. Because, honestly, from the facts, it just kind of feels like something happened.
Yeah.
Which is the vaguest way to, like, sum everything up. Something happened, obviously. But, like, I think I don't know what to believe.
Yeah. There's too much going into it.
She's so cute. Sorry.
You're so distracting.
Yeah, I don't know. Just the fact that he was in the hospital for so long.
Yeah. Just get that out of your mouth. Sorry.
Choking hazard. We don't need that.
Yeah, no. There you go. Oh, Tanty. Okay. But yeah, there's so many, like, theories off of that and so many, like, so little facts, but, like, I don't know.
So much to say about it. Like, there's, like, especially the fact that the data is either gone from having been deleted or removed in some way. Okay. Or, sorry, the iPhone thing keeps going off, and I've never been able to do it until, I guess, right now. But it was either deleted or it was removed because he was electrocuted. Like, both are so bad. Yeah. Both are so bad.
But it would be, like, the doctors would have told Fernando if that's what had happened. So Fernando would know if he's been electrocuted. And I'm wondering if it's probably very likely that he either got a payout from the client.
She was like, laugh, Mom, that was funny, huh?
He's either, when he left McLaren, like, I reckon they obviously would have made him sign an NDA. I wonder if that NDA was time limited, like he couldn't talk about it for X amount of years.
Yeah.
If he's talking about sharing all the secrets from when he was at McLaren, because he's approaching 10 years. So I'm wondering if maybe he had an NDA and a legal payout as well. Like, I'm intrigued as to why he hasn't said anything.
Yeah. Especially that era of Alonso.
Well, yeah, and especially because it seems like he kind of has, like, beef with McLaren and how that whole situation went down with him. Like, you would kind of want... I feel like this idea of who I think Fernando is would want some kind of sort of petty revenge in that way a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they all kind of do. Like, Gunther Steiner wrote his book, you know, like, Haas kind of got back at him with, like, a lawsuit. Like, it's all very petty in that way.
Yeah. I am wondering how he feels about McLaren now that most of those people either aren't there or are in different positions.
Is that what you reckon? Is that how he feels? Are you embarrassed now? Okay.
She's like, Don't know what came over me. Sorry.
My bad. Oh, devil.
She's so cute.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many questions and no answers.
Yeah.
None.
And I think that's what is so frustrating about it. That there are no answers, and we're probably not going to get answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Literally. You're funny. Yeah. I think that was quite possibly, that one still spirals me. So I think that's probably the most mind-blowing one out of the three. But
I haven't heard the electrocution theory, but that kind of bridges the gap of confusion that I had.
yeah.
That
That's
is, yeah.
theory. Yeah. Okay. You done? Yeah. Well,
Wow.
guess that was our Barcelona mystery testing deep dive. Were your minds successfully blown?
Yeah, I'm going to be thinking about this one for a while.
You're gonna like lay awake at night?
Yeah, when you guys get text from me in the middle of your day, in the middle of the night, in the middle of your day, because I can't sleep, you'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on like a deep dive on YouTube and see if any fans posted like any videos.
2-hour-long video. I need that.
Camcorder.
Yeah,
Camcorder. It was 2015. Who am I?
Yeah, it was an iPhone.
The iPhone existed. Brittany's gonna show up with one of the ye old like crank cameras.
I think I literally had like an iPhone 4 at that point, but no. People at Formula 1 were recording on camcorders.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh man.
Any more information's found, we're gonna have to do a part 2 of this deep dive, but I'm not.
Her teeth are so cute. Sorry, I just saw them.
I know, right? Oh, you're just so sweet. You're just so sweet. Oh.
So cute.
You know what? This is so like it would be in my brain at least too disrespectful to deep dive on, but I could seriously deep dive on Jill Bianchi's Suzuka crash because there are so many bits and bobs where it's like if you literally, my biggest thing is if you moved that crane 5 seconds later, she would have been fine. Seriously injured, sure, but fine.
That,
Yeah.
That's
devastating to me. But we could, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe we should see what we can do too about like the Christian Horner stuff that kind of blew over and the like Toto emails and the police and stuff like that. Like I bet there's a little bit more out there.
Yeah.
I haven't printed out.
I'm sure there's a lot more deep dives we could do. So I mean, if you guys like these deep dives, let us know because I'm sure we can figure out some more to deep dive. God, if you have anything you'd like us to deep dive on, also let us know.
Yeah.
Because I like these. I think they're fun little videos. But yeah.
We could even do like a whole episode on Abu Dhabi in 2021.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
We could do like a 5-part series on that.
Traumatizing as it is.
Yeah. That could be a good idea.
I say it's traumatizing as I don't support either Lewis or Max. As a Ferrari fan, that was traumatizing.
Literally, I think it was traumatizing no matter who you support though. Like that was just insane.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Alrighty. Well, hope you enjoyed this Barcelona testing deep dive. And I dare say we'll see you again soon, hopefully, for either another deep dive or regular programming of our...
It's going to be race week so soon.
I'm so excited. As we're filming this, it is race week. And I'm so excited. Zandvoort! Alrighty.
Home race.
I'm so excited.
It is Max's home race, right?
Yeah.
That's...
1 of 3.
Yeah.
Lucky bastard.